Good morning, guys. Not good morning, I guess. I'm used to saying good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As you can see, I'm a little burnt. Went to. If you guys have ever been to St. Petersburg, went to St. Petersburg to the Don Cesar. Don Cesar. Have you guys heard about that hotel? It's like a supposedly haunted, or not haunted, but it was built a long time ago. Some guy built it for his wife, and then he died, and just a whole story. But went there. So, well, what's going on, guys? How's everyone doing? Morning, I guess morning, right? Morning for some on the East Coast. What is it? 9, 10, 11. What is it there? 10? No, it's 9. But 9 o'clock, yeah, 9 a.m. Welcome, Lou. You don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock anymore to come to the live streams. So, figure today I'm not doing anything. I'll probably do some stuff. Market data. Yeah, I saw you ask me that question. It's hard to hear. I'll show you right now. If you're in the Discord chat, so I put it in the Q&A. Pull it up here for you. Gotta go to the pinned posts. Here you go. So that is what your data should look like on Interactive Brokers. Take a screenshot. You got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Screenshot it. Alrighty. There you go. So let's go ahead and just let's go. I don't have a schedule for today. It's very casual, guys, today. Don't expect, greatness. We're just going to go ahead and chill, look at some charts. That's what I wanted to do anyway today. I still want to prepare myself for tomorrow. I don't want to go in blind. So let's go ahead and do a little preparation for tomorrow. Let's look at, futures, SPY, ES, obviously Nasdaq, Dow, and then we'll look at some charts, some stocks that went up pretty nicely on Friday, stocks that did okay. We'll talk a little bit about, I want to touch on this idea of, I know a lot of people, they don't think the market has crashed yet, but there's a lot of stocks that have already crashed. So, we talk about the stock market crash, and there's quite a bit of names that you could consider have crashed, and the only stuff that's really holding the market up are the big names. So, does there get to a point where, those stocks that have basically already crashed, start to come back high? I don't know. It's an interesting concept. Like we say, market hasn't crashed still, there's still downside. But if you look at some stocks are down like 60, 70, 80% from their highs, which is just like, it's wild to think about. And it's really, it's really only the big cap names that have held up. So there's a lot of stocks out there that you might not be paying attention to that have already crashed. So it's just a concept. It's nothing that, nothing groundbreaking, but something to think about. That we'll take a look at a few of those names. So let's just go ahead and do it. Let's chill for like an hour, look at some charts, hang out. If you guys have any, recommendations to look at some charts, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll try to get to as many as I see. I'll obviously give members, priority. If you're a member, I'll know because your name will be green. So if you have anything, I'm obviously confused. Okay. I don't know if you're talking to me or not, but I'm clearly not confused. So here we go. Yeah. I agree, Vincent. There's some of those stocks that are down 70, 80% may never come back. I totally agree. There is definitely some names that may never be back to where they were, unless the market comes back to a time of risk on. The market, I know it doesn't seem like right now, but, a few years from now, maybe, there's a risk-on environment again, and maybe they do start to find some buying. But right now, risk-on is just not favored. I don't see them coming back in the short term, but you never know. We can never be certain, right? All right. So here's the Nasdaq, right? Here's the Nasdaq. What did we do last week? We sort of chopped around, and the biggest thing that I want to point out to anyone on this market right now is the 15,150 level. I think everyone should have that level on their charts. I think that is your most important level coming into next week. Why? Because we found some really nice support off it last week, back on the 10th, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago. Back on the 10th, I think it was Monday, right? That Monday where we really found, that pushback higher. And it's also these August highs. So I just can't imagine a market, if we crack this flush point right here at 15,150, I gotta believe that there is more downside here. I gotta believe there's more downside if we do not hold up above this 15,150. So, anything above this 15,150, I think you guys have to remain neutral here, right? I wouldn't make very, harsh judgments of which direction this market's going. I wouldn't pay attention to people on YouTube saying the market's crashing. I wouldn't pay attention to people saying that the market is spiking back to all-time highs. This is the area that I would agree to stay neutral, because above 15,150, I really believe that anything can happen here. And you guys have seen the volatility in this market, right? The market has been extremely volatile. And anyone that's trying to guess what happens here is just not really... I don't agree. I don't like making large market assumptions. That is not. I don't think people are successful by doing that. I don't think successful traders out there are saying, "I'm going in puts here because I know the market's going down." I don't think that is a strategy. I don't think that's the right thing to do, especially not where we are right now. So, as of right now, I am staying neutral on a day-to-day basis until I see, a major flush under this 15,150. A major flush under this. Say like a push down, a retest, and then you start to see this. Then, yeah, I think this is going to get pretty ugly, and I think there's going to be some easy downside for sure. So that's the big level that I am keeping an eye out for. I would agree, most definitely bearish bias in this market. I would agree that I don't, it comes down to your definition of bearish, guys. And I think, yes, we are very heavy here on the tech market in specific. This is not a market-wide, downside move. You have to be able to, individualize between which stocks are good, which stocks are bad. Like right now, guys, it's tech stocks that are sort of under pressure. But you look at stocks like, you look at the XLP, and if you're going to say the market's bearish when the XLP looks extremely bullish, then you're sort of generalizing a market into one whole sector. And that is just not the case, right? So Pepsi, extremely bullish, like ridiculously bullish, right? Coca-Cola, unbelievably bullish. Even energy. Look at energy. Look at the XLE, right? So, generalizing the market as bearish right now, I just don't think I think that's too broad of a stroke. And I don't think you're really focusing on what's going on, right? You need to focus on what's good and what's not. There is definitely bullish areas on this market. But I know a lot of us, including myself, we like to look at tech, and we like to use tech as the feeling for the market. Now, I would agree with you guys out there that say, tech is weak. I definitely agree. It's heavy. It's not getting any momentum. There's not a lot of love on tech. There's just no catalyst to be buying it right now. And that probably will cause a little bit of slippage, maybe down to 15,150. But then again, we have earnings coming up. Is earnings the catalyst to sort of, see what happens, in mid-February? Mid-February, I believe, is when most tech stocks start to report. What happens then, right? What happens then? So that's the next catalyst that I think we're waiting on. And if we just chop around here until earnings, I don't think that's necessarily bullish or bearish. I think that is just a time period of, people protecting risk, protecting money, staying away from tech stocks a little bit, from high growth, and focusing on some of these other hot areas. For example, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, anything in the XLP, anything in the energy sector, even healthcare has been okay. It's been better than most. Started to get a little slippage here, but even healthcare has been pretty strong. So this is just a indecision time for the market. I don't want to say it's bullish or bearish, but I definitely will agree that tech is just not the it's not the hot sector, right? Tech is not the hot sector. So right now, guys, Nasdaq, this 15150 is the big level. You got your 16,000 level, which has been a very tough rejection level. I would be surprised. That is the level where I think maybe there's a little momentum swing back to the upside. So for me, into this coming week on the Nasdaq, this coming week, here's my guardrails, right? It's 16,000 and 15,150. If we stay, within this area, on this, upside resistance and downside support, I don't think you can make an assumption on this market, right? I don't think you can make an assumption on this market if you stay within this range, because there is just no clear direction. If you break the 16K and you turn it into support, maybe you get your push back to highs. But then again, you have to be careful of that rejection, which has come in multiple times. And if we break 15,150, then I think you can play that downside. But until you see that range break, guys, I would be very careful on an intraday basis, because I just don't think there's going to be a single direction. And you're just going to have to trade this on an intraday basis of what's strong that day and what is weak, right? Because right now, I think you're in a very tight range here between 16K psychological and 15,150. If I go to 16K, if I go to the 15-minute chart, this is the 15-minute chart. Here's Wednesday and Thursday of last week, and what you guys can see is just look at that rejection off 16, right? So rejection. 16 is the new level. 16 is the new level to be aware of. So that's the Nasdaq. That's how I feel about it. I think people need to, stay not humble. I don't know why I said humble. Stay neutral. That's the word I'm looking for. I think you need to stay neutral here, guys. I would not take any large bets to either direction when the market is not showing you a direction right now. So stay neutral, into next week. See what this market does on Tuesday, tomorrow, and trade. Of course, there's going to be trading opportunities within this range here, but here are my two guardrail, I like to call them guardrails, because until I, see, let's say a car's crashing out of a guardrail to the upside, up a hill or something, then I think it's going to continue up. If I see a car crashing out of the guardrails down a hill, then I think you're going to continue lower. So here are my two levels that I'm watching, 16K and 15,150. In between those levels, I'm just going to trade the volatility. That's really all I can say. I do not feel confident in a direction within that area. We can do a really long-term look. If you guys, if we go to let's go check out the weekly chart here. Why not? So here's the weekly chart, and you guys can see, this is nothing that concerning on the weekly chart. It's still, still looks sort of like another little pullback area. Now, of course, you got all the media scaring everyone. You got all the hype in the market saying this is it, that's it, this is the crash. You got everyone, on YouTube saying it's over. So usually those are the times where the people that pick up shares end up winning. Of course, there's going to be that one or two times where the people that are buying the dips here do get, sort of crushed. Not crushed, I would say, if it's for a long term, but, there are going to be times where maybe the dip is a little bit more than you would have expected. But, traditionally, on the pullbacks, when everyone, I can guarantee you guys, I'll sort of explain to you what I'm trying to say here. In this period right here, right, September 20, I would 100% say that there was fear in the market and people saying this is the crash. Here in October of 2020, I can guarantee you there was people here fearing the market, CNBC scaring the market, and people thinking the market's going to crash. I can guarantee you here in March of 2021, there was fear in the market, people being scared and thinking that they need to sell their stocks. Can guarantee you that happened again here. I can guarantee you that happened again here. And I can guarantee you right now it's happening, right? So I don't want to say that you just stay bullish forever, but I want people to realize that the emotions and the psychology of trading, these are the tough times, these pullbacks, these are the times where you start to lose hope. And if you didn't lose hope and you believed in the market and you continued to dollar cost average into your stocks, then you are the clear winner right now, right? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I'm not saying I'm 100% right. I'll never say that on my channel. I'm not someone that makes broad strokes and try to time the market, but I will say that being neutral during these pullbacks, not going heavily, not making large reactions to either direction. I'm going to sell all my shares, or I think the market's going to crash. That's just getting that far outside of the area of neutrality it's dangerous, and it makes your emotions spike, and you need to be careful of that. So be aware. That's sort of my mindset on the market now. I'm still going to buy shares every week. Absolutely. I'm never going to stop doing that. But right now it's questionable, right? And that's the Nasdaq. So let's go to the ES. So the ES is clearly stronger. And why is the ES stronger? For anyone that doesn't understand why. The ES is stronger because it has more diversification than the Nasdaq, right? The Nasdaq is all tech. And the ES has stocks like healthcare, stocks like energy, stocks like consumer staples within its 500 names, right? And so there is a little bit more diversification and a little bit more strength on the ES, on the S&P 500. Now, you can see we've had a little bit of an uptrend in this area. Now, I don't want to say that this is a strong uptrend. It is very short term. It's about a month and a half, 2 months, but it's there. If you see them trending and moving in one direction, you want. Yes, except sometimes, guys, on Amazon, it does not move with the Nasdaq. I've seen that plenty of times. So make sure. That is why I do not like to trade Amazon, because sometimes it has a mind of its own. Sometimes it will not trade with the Nasdaq. Anyways, back to the ES. Here's your uptrend that I'm sort of eyeing. Now, I don't think this is a very strong uptrend, but it is clearly there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit of an uptrend on the ES, holding up much better than the Nasdaq, still making higher lows. As long as this market's making higher lows, I have to assume that there's some strength here. If we do get a little bit of a bear flag here and we break down like this, then I would assume that is your signal that there could be some weakness here, right? If we push back into this 4740 area on the ES once again and reject again for the fourth time, then I would assume, there's a little bit of a breakdown out of this uptrend. So watch out for that. Watch that 4740 on the ES. That's a big level up there. You're holding this little uptrend. To the downside, it just seems like you want to watch these structure points now. So the first big one is 4540, right in this September highs, August-September highs, right in this area. 4540, right? That's a big one. We've bounced off that multiple times, 1 and 2. And then you just watch some of these other structure points. So like 4570, you have this 4620, 4630 area. But right now, overall, it's sort of like the Nasdaq, right? So here's my guardrails. Here's my big guardrails. Downside guardrail is definitely the September, August highs of 4540 area. And then the upside is right around that 4740. So here's your chop and your volatility range right here. In between this range, direction is not very certain. Outside of those two guardrails, you probably can get a little bit more of an idea of a direction. So that's the ES. I would keep an eye on this little uptrend that's forming. It's definitely there. It's definitely there. You can clearly see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's there. I wouldn't say it's the strongest thing to trust, but if you do bounce off of it next week, maybe you get another nice uptrend reaction to the upside. So uptrend, guardrails, that's what I'd watch in the ES, guys. And it's the same thing for SPY. If you guys watch the SPY, if you watch the ETF instead of the NASDAQ, which I would recommend to look at the ES, just a personal recommendation. You don't need to take it, but I'd rather look at the ES, the futures contracts. But you have the same thing, right? You have the September highs, September, August highs. You have the little uptrend, and then you have the upside resistance at 473. So it's the exact same chart, guys. If you look at the SPY, if you look at the ES, exact same chart. 454, 473, and then a little uptrend that I would keep an eye out for. All right. YM. So here's the Dow, guys, and the Dow is another one that's slightly outperforming, right? So you got a little bit of a higher lows on that YM, 36,000. I would have liked to see a hold, but it did not. So that is something that I'm watching. 36,000 on the Dow was an important psychological level. We did crack below that on Thursday, Friday. Now the next level that seems to be holding is right around this 35.5. So if I zoom in here, you can see this is that September high, August high, 35.5. Right here, you can see it held 2 times last week. If I go to the 15-minute chart, or let's just go to the 5-minute, here it is. Oops, look at that. So you guys see this bottom here and this bottom here. What level was that? That's 35.5. And if I go to the daily chart, you can see it is that September, August high. So that is the big level I'd watch next week. 35.5 on the Dow. If we hold above that, then I'd say we continue to get a little bit of strength here. If we break below 35.5, then I think you're probably looking, to come down to some of these previous lows right here, previous low here, previous low here. So on the Dow, 35.5. On the upside, 36.3. Those are some levels that I would watch on the Dow. Again, relative strength on the Dow versus the tech stocks. So that would be something I would watch out for. Stocks like Caterpillar have been doing pretty well. You can see right here, nice little push on Cat. Stocks like Boeing have been doing pretty well, right? Boeing's trying to get a little push. So those are some big ones. Stocks like UNH have been relatively okay. It's another big one in the Dow. So just watch that. Does the Analyze tab have... No. I'm not sure if the Analyze tab will... No, I don't want fundamentals. What do I want here? Actually, I do want fundamentals. Yeah, I don't... See, like, certain ETFs, they'll show their top holdings. We can just look that up real quick. Dow top holdings. I know it's UNH, Home Depot, Cat, some of the big ones. Here we go. Yeah, UNH is number 1. That's right. So here's the top holdings in the Dow, right? Daniel, I don't know if you're just angry about the money you lost, but you just keep writing in caps. Now you're saying that I'm wrong about something. Oh boy. UNH number 1, Goldman Sachs number 2, Home Depot 3, Microsoft 4. Microsoft 4, McDonald's 5, Amgen, Salesforce, Cat's number 8, Boeing's number 9, Visa, 3M, Apple. So you got some names in here that have been doing pretty well. Like Coca-Cola is a big part of the Dow, and that's been doing well, so it's holding that Dow up a little bit. You got a little bit of strength on the banks recently, so that's been holding up the Dow a little bit, right? You got a little bit of strength on healthcare, which has been holding the Dow up a little bit. Home Depot's been okay. So that's why you're seeing a little bit more strength on the Dow, as you can see on the market there, versus just tech stocks, which have been getting pretty beat up. So here we go. So those are the futures. We can look at the RTY real quick, but I just still don't think there's much love for the small caps. I really don't. You can see we are starting to hold this low here, right around this 2110. You guys can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see there is very nice support in this area. So, I'm sure some people will try to play this back to the upside, which could be a very good opportunity. Honestly, that's just, I don't try to catch every opportunity in the market. I like to stay, to what I'm comfortable with, and catching a small cap bounce here is just not really within my, my goal or my, what I'm trying to do. I'm not really trying to trade small caps. I'm not trying to find a bounce off this small cap. However, that could be a very nice opportunity for some of you guys that maybe are a little bit more versed in trading the Russell. So, watch this, watch this small cap bounce, very potential. There could be, some pushes to the upside on some of your favorite meme stocks. If you do get a small cap rally here, it's very possible. Stocks like AMC and GME sometimes move off a nice Russell move. So I'm not someone that's going to trade that, but, I'm just here to let you know. If there's a small cap rally here off this support, maybe back up to this 2280 area, maybe back up to here, there could be some movement on some of those small cap names. All right, so that's the futures. Just, sort of sharing with you guys my thoughts. As of right now, I talk, a lot of people ask me why I've been a little bit slower on swing trades, and the honest answer is, guys, it's just not a market for it. And I think that is something that is very important for some of you guys out there to understand. A lot of people come into the market thinking just to trade one way, one strategy, and it's going to work forever, and it's just not the case, right? So swing trading right now is very difficult. There's so much volatility in the market. You'll be up in the position for a few hours. The next few hours, you'll be down like 20%. Then you don't know, whether this is a really that good of a, do you really want to hold onto a position that has that much volatility over, let's say, a few weeks or a few months? As of right now, I just don't think that is what I should be doing with my money. I am someone that before a trader, I'm more of a risk manager. That's something that's cliche, but it's very true. You should be a risk manager more than a trader in the market, because the market is here to take your money, without a doubt. So you need to know how to risk. You need to know how to manage your risk in a portfolio. Knowing how to manage risk in a portfolio is more important than knowing how to day trade. So I have become, I think, very good at managing risk in my portfolio. And right now, I'm not going to put my portfolio at risk with large swing trades in a volatile market. I don't think that's smart. And I would much rather save my money and use it elsewhere. I'd rather maybe invest in rental properties. I'd rather, do other things that could have a return for me versus swing trading in a market that is not meant for swing traders. So that is why you've seen probably less swings on the channel. I just haven't been taking any. I don't think it's the right time to do it. Now, if the market becomes into a very strong trending market, then of course that's the opportunity. But right now, day trading is scalping, finding some day trades intraday, buying off support, playing downside off rejection levels is what I've been focusing on right now. I don't want that risk on my portfolio. So that's just my feeling in the market right now, guys. Overall view, if anyone's interested, that's how I feel with the charts as well as with the psychology of what this market is doing right now. What's the best way to manage risk in a portfolio? You need to really stick to a strategy, not a strategy as in like a trading strategy, but a money management strategy. So how much risk are you putting on each position? Are you aware of that? Are you going outside of those lines because your emotions think that this is a really good trade? And don't trust me, guys. Don't think I haven't been exposed to these problems, because I have, and being exposed to them is what's taught me more than anything. But do you have buying power and you think you have to use it all? Does that happen to you? Because that's happened to me in the past, right? I have buying power for some swing trades and I want to go ahead and use it, right? Is it the right time to be taking swings? That's the first thing. If the answer is no, then don't take them. How much percent are you putting in each position? I don't take swing trades with more than 3 to 4% of my portfolio. Never. At times, I'll push it to like 5 or 6 if the market's really good. But I have never taken a swing trade with more than, I've never taken a double-digit percentage point weight in a swing trade versus my portfolio. So what I mean by that is, let's say my portfolio is $50,000. I will never take a $5,000 swing trade in a portfolio with $50,000. It's a little bit irrational. I know it's to some of you guys that like to go ahead and, try to become millionaires overnight. That's a small amount to you. But if you lose that, that is a very large percent of your portfolio. 10% in one trade, I mean, that sucks. So, that's the first thing that I focus on. Any swing trade I take, it's ideally around 3 to 4%. And you can afford to take that loss as long as you're not, throwing out 4% trades every day. So that's the first thing I would focus on. Now with smaller accounts, right, that's difficult. That's very difficult. And that's why sometimes the harsh reality, guys, is we all know it's easier to make money with more money, right? I think we all know that's the case, right? So if I was trading with, if I took a few of my trades last week, like I took on Nvidia with $100,000, I would have made 50K last week. If I took my QQQ call options last week with $100,000, I would have made 100 grand last week. It was 100% trade. So, as you have a smaller account, which I know a lot of people do, it's definitely more difficult, and it's even more important to focus on those percentage points. I think a lot of people don't focus on percentage points. I think everyone comes into this market, they want to be rich. They come into the market because they think it's a golden ticket to become a millionaire, and it's just not right. It is just, that's the quickest way out. That's the quickest way in and out. The quickest way in and out of this market is to come in expecting to be a millionaire or expecting to make a lot of money. Managing your risk, understanding what you're putting on the line in each trade, understanding that there is a potential for it to go wrong, and really focusing on your trading account as a business has changed the game for me, right? Like, do I want to see my business lose 10% in a day or in 2 weeks? No. Why would you want that? I think people that, have moderate expectations in the market, and maybe are not trying to just come out here and hit home runs, it's easier for them to accept that. But of course, we know there's traders out there that come into this market that just want to be like the millionaire traders that think they can, become a millionaire overnight when starting with $2,000. And something that, you got to remember is these people trade with a lot of money, guys. They trade with a lot of money, and they put on massive risk, right? So like a $100,000 trade might be 2% to them. So it's not really a big percentage point loss. If they take a loss, it doesn't really matter because they're trading with $5 million portfolios. So you got to understand that. You got to make sure you understand that, and you can't compare yourself to other people. There's, the trading community has almost become like a social media stunt lately, which is pretty sad. And I think that's partially TikTok's fault. You get all these fake people on TikTok that say they're millionaires, and you want to, you watch it and you want to be like it. And it makes you take more risk than you should. And it's happened to me too. Like, I'll finish a trading day up, $400, and I'll, chill out for a few hours, look at some, just scroll on social media, and I'll start to be like, hey, maybe I should start taking more risk because I want to make more money. But then I quickly say, you got to know, if you're trying to make more money, you're also risking a lot more. So I don't know, just went on a little tangent there, but figured I'd share some psychological things with you guys, some, ideas. Started with 450. Wow, great job, Driven Latino. That's huge. That's massive. Now with the when you come across a really good performance streak like that, Driven Latino, okay. You're an exception there, man. Don't come out here and boast like that's a normal thing to do. That is a very large exception, and congratulations. That's great. But I would have to assume that for you to make that much money, you were putting on very large risk, and you were, taking some really good trades with very large risk. And I don't want to say that that's not sustainable, but don't, make sure you understand that you got to make sure to try to save that. Try not to, give that back. Because to make $4,800 in 6 weeks off 450, you were obviously taking very large percentage point risk on your portfolio. Now, if you continue to do that and you're wrong a few times, it could turn out very bad. So congratulations. I'm not a hater. That's awesome. Very, very nice job. I'm happy about that. But you gotta, I've seen that happen, and people continue to take the same large risk and they lose it all. So make sure to remember that. All right, let's go over some charts. So, first one, Apple. Let's take a look at Apple. Why not? So, Apple, yeah, count one in a month. Apple, you guys had that double bottom there at 168. That's something I'm definitely keeping an eye out for. You guys can see it right around here, 168, 168. It's a hard time. It's a hard time to know again on Apple, which direction does this go? You have an upper range and a lower range. You have your top resistance and your bottom support. What happens here on Apple? This is going to be 100% dependent on what the Nasdaq does next week, right? So as of right now, Apple's in a tough area to really know direction. If we were maybe retesting a previous level, if we were making higher lows, if we were engulfing some of this price action, then I would say, hey, this might have some more opportunity to the upside. But I'm not using the Google Docs today, PA. Sorry. If you want to put something to look at, you feel free to put it in the chat. I'll prioritize people that are members. I'll prioritize people that are members. I'll see your name is green in the live chat. So Apple 168, that's like your sort of your flush point area. You have your 50 SMA there as well. You guys can see right there, 50 SMA. You can see right there up to 168. So I would assume that 168 holds pretty tough. That's a level that I would be pretty confident in seeing if it holds. Now, of course, if the market really does take a hit, then I would assume that Apple pushes lower below this 168. But as of right now, I think playing it off this level could be very nice. As of right now, you might start forming a little higher low here. That's a very potential. You can see low and low. So if we do engulf this previous price action, all right, if we do break this high here, I would be looking for something like this to potentially take a trade off of. You can see right here 177. So you have a higher low. If you make a higher high, then you're starting a trend. And then I would look for the retest of previous highs, retest of previous highs. That would be my entry right there. If you should be able to change it to 1080. Just go to YouTube. It should be 1080. It should be clear. I mean, if it's not clear, let me know, but it should be. So 177 push through highs right here, previous highs. If we see that move, might be a nice move, right? That's something I am watching. So I'm going to keep that previous high here of 177 on watch. Sometimes, guys, it's just not really a certain trade. Right now, there's nothing here that shows me, a certain direction. So I'd be patient on Apple. Microsoft did come back down to that 305 level. So this is a little bit more interesting for a potential move. Now, if the market is strong next week, if you do get some bullishness on tech, now I'm not saying there is, but if there is, if you start to see that buying come in, I do like this area on Microsoft. I really do. I like this 305 area. I know it retested it pretty quickly back here on the 13th. Was that Friday or was that Thursday? Let's see. That was Thursday. So we came back really quickly on Thursday, and we saw some of that volatility. But you guys can see here again, look, 305 held once again. So this is where I'm more interested in a play, right? When we're around structure points on the market. And this is definitely somewhere where Microsoft has, I think can prove to hold previous resistance, potential support. If there is a move on Nasdaq on Tuesday, tomorrow, this is something I would be watching because there is support down here, and I think people will see that, and there could be some trading activity off of that 305 level. So I'm going to watch that 305 on Microsoft tomorrow. If there's any Nasdaq strength, if there's not, then I'm not going to watch it, right? I have to make sure to see what the overall market is doing. Nvidia. I would be very careful trading Nvidia here, guys, in the near future. I have noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed too, Nvidia has the price action intraday. If you watch the price action intraday, it has been very weak. It's definitely a lot of outflows going on here in Nvidia, a lot of profit taking on probably bigger firms. I don't think you're getting much buying into Nvidia as of recent. The price action has been really weak. The downside moves have been overextended, and the upside moves have been just terrible. So just be careful if you're about to take an upside play on Nvidia. I would think maybe one more second and say, hey, Nvidia has been really weak lately. Do I really want to be taking an upside play in this stock? Just ask that to yourself before you do play any upside next week on Nvidia, because this stock has really underperformed, and especially underperformed some of its counterparts. For example, Qualcomm and TSM. Nvidia and AMD, even AMD is doing a little bit better. Nvidia has been really weak. And why? Because it's made a really big move, right? Why is it weakening here? It's because it's a lot of profit taking after this ridiculous move, right? So this move was 77%, right? So that's a big move. And that's why you're starting to see that pullback. So I know everyone wants to, I loved this time. This was awesome. I mean, I was making a lot of money during this time of the market. This push higher in Nvidia was just so easy. It was just easy mode. I mean, every day you see a little bit of strength in the morning on Nvidia, and boom, you're taking calls and you're up, $5,000 before you know it. So it's pretty wild. Let me see if I can go back to that day on the 1 minute chart. Can I go 1 minute? How far can I go back on a 1 minute chart? Let's see. One day. Oh, what is this? Oh, one. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I can't really go back that far, unfortunately. I can go back 20 days. Yeah. Actually, I think I might be able to. Let's go to this day. 11/4. Let's take a look at 11/4, why don't we? 11/4 on Nvidia. Let's go to 11/4 to... let's take 11/1 to 11/4. Yeah, volume profile is going to be really weak here until this 2:30. I agree. All right, let's grab this. Does this work for us? It's only a 1 minute. Come on, work. I've never tried this before, so let's see. Is it going to work? I've never had a chart load this long either. Interesting. Why is this chart taking so long? Should I wait? Do I think this is actually loading, or do I think it's stuck? I don't have very good patience for these types of things. Do we think this is actually loading? Let me know. 11/1 to 11/4, 1 minute chart. I don't think it's going. TOS. Yeah, this is TOS for you. It's usually not this bad. I don't think it's going. It might, but I'm not willing to wait for it. All right. Anyways, what I'm trying to show you guys, if you go to the 1 minute chart on these days here, I mean, it's just going to look unbelievable. And yeah, this is when I took that huge Nvidia swing trade too. This was, what was that, $10,000 swing trade, right? It was like $8,000, I think. I think that was my total profit. So yeah, I mean, that time was incredible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe I'll try the 5 minute. 1 minute's probably a lot for it. It's not even letting me do the... Oh, here we go. Yeah, I could go to Trading View. I do want to show you guys this because it's pretty impressive if you go back to that. Let's go 5 minute. All right, here we go. Sweet, we got it. I mean, look at this. It's just wild. When you see price action like this, guys, this is, these are the easy days, right? This is the market that we all wish would come back. Even this day, right? You got your push higher, pull back, break of highs, and just massive continuation. All right, even if you just, like in this market right now, buying highs, like buying here in this market is just extremely dangerous because almost every time in a weak market, you're going to get a double top and you're going to get a rejection, right? Almost every time in a weak market, like we've seen on tech. But back then, when the market's hot, and it'll come again, guys, and that's what people, they're not patient to wait for it. Look at this breakout, beautiful trading opportunity. Actually, a little perfect break and retest here in the 5 minute. Awesome trade. Even here, if you see later in the day, look at the retest hold later in the day. Pulled back right to the retest level. You get in on that retest maybe for a swing trade. You hold it. Oh, wow. Look at this. See, that's wild. See, that's a pretty chart right there. Why do I say this is a pretty chart? Because look at how beautiful. I think I might have made a video on this exact chart now that I remember it. But look at that. Previous high day, breakout, retest, next day, double bottom at the exact level. Double bottom at the exact level. And then that's the following day. So, yeah, I mean, these were the glory times, right? I mean, that was the good stuff. And that's when it's just so fun to trade. But, guys, that's just not what it's like right now, and you have to understand that. You have to understand that it's just not like that anymore. So, Nvidia week, be careful on it next week, guys. I could probably say if the Nasdaq is if the Nasdaq is weak this week coming up, Nvidia might be the top put opportunity to the downside. It might be the best opportunity because if the Nasdaq's weak, this is going to be overextended to the downside. If you break this 100 SMA on the daily chart, I think you're going to come back down to this 230 relatively quick. And this could be a very profitable downside move. So keep an eye on that. Tesla. I mean, yeah, look at these days on Tesla too. I mean, geez, that was the good stuff. I got a lot of lines here on Tesla. I'll clean it up. So big level on Tesla, guys, and we'll sort of talk about let's not get so in depth on Tesla in the short term because I think it's more important to look at the long term on Tesla because I just think you're missing out if you're not at least putting some money into this stock. Maybe a lot of people are haters of Tesla, but long term, I'm not going to get into my feelings on Elon Musk because I think a lot of people will not like it, but I think Elon's, an incredible person that's, really revolutionizing a lot of stuff that the world does into the future. And I think, having a part of that opportunity and if you're buying Tesla, you're not just buying Tesla, you're buying Elon and you're buying, evolution of the future. So I think that's why Tesla is so up. I think that's why Tesla is continuously moving higher because you're really not just buying the Tesla manufacturing company, the car manufacturer. You're buying Elon's continued innovation. And, this is the only way to buy that, right? And how else are you buying into that innovation that Elon could and counterparts could do in the future? It's through buying Tesla stock. And that's something I think a lot of people don't realize. When I talk to friends, they say, why is Tesla up so much? It's not just because of Tesla. It has a lot to do with their CEO. And I think we would all agree that if Elon ever, when he passes, which will be an unfortunate day, this stock will get hurt because I think, him being in charge is really driving the boat. And you don't know really what happens, after his genius pass because, there's not many people like him out there that are really trying to revolutionize, how the world works. It's pretty incredible in my opinion. Now you may not agree with that. I'm sorry if you don't, but I think what he's doing is incredible. So that's why I'm still, I'm still always going to be a shareholder of Tesla. I think it's a good investment in the long term. There's always times of question. There's always times of people freaking out about Tesla having, too high of a P ratio and, Tesla's going to crash and all this nonsense. That really makes no difference, in my opinion. So $1,000 right now, Tesla's in one of those times, right? Tesla has big breakouts and consolidation periods. That's sort of how this stock works. If we go back to the weekly chart, it has big breakouts, consolidation periods, right? This was a 5-month consolidation period. Big breakout, consolidation period for almost, I guess we could call this consolidation until around August, September of 2021. So you have an 8-month consolidation period here, big move. And what's happening right now, guys, it's a consolidation period. Will there be another big move on Tesla? I absolutely believe there will be. When does it happen? I don't know. How far do we have to fall for it that happen? I don't know. But will there be another big move on Tesla? I strongly believe that. But, you got to wait for that consolidation. So we're in the consolidation phase. Is it easy to trade Tesla during the consolidation phase? Not really. It is much easier to be trading Tesla when you start to see those multi-day breakouts. So And another thing to to focus on, guys, when Tesla starts making those multi-day breakouts, it's very easy to know. People are going crazy. Tesla's gapping up 10% a day. You start to see the price action. If you're someone that actually watches the market and you understand price action, you'll know when Tesla is starting to go. You'll absolutely know. You might be a day or two late, but there's definitely going to be some, pie for you to take. There's definitely going to be some piece of that pie for you to go ahead and take advantage of, because the price action will be astronomical. It's just how it always is. It's monstrous in like a 3, 4, 5 day period, and then it starts to slow down. So you can see here was actually like a week. Here was about, maybe, let's say you missed it on the 11th. Let's say you missed it on the 18th. But that next day, I'm sorry, these are weeklies. This is a week, but you can, wow, that's actually, all right, hold on. Let me take a step back, right? Because those were weekly candles. All right, so that was 3 weeks. So let's say you missed it on, this move higher. There's that price action just continued and continued and continued for multiple days. So as of right now, the reason why I'm not trading Tesla as much is because I like to wait for the huge moves on Tesla, because it makes it really easy. If we go to the 1 minute chart on Tesla, this type of price action is just not interesting to me. It's just so difficult, and Tesla likes to steal your money pretty easily. So if we do a real analysis on this, let's go to the daily chart. $1,000, that's a big level, right? That's clear. $1,000 hold has continued to be there. So, if you're a bull on Tesla, if you want to see Tesla move higher, I think you want to see a $1,000 hold. That would be great. The level that's really tough, if you go to the hourly chart, this level is very, very tough. And we actually created a pretty nasty head and shoulders on Tesla. So right here, you guys can see Tesla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Big level here on Tesla. So 1120, that's your tough level. 1,000's your downside. And here is just another example of a chart that is ranging, that is range bound, that is difficult to trade until you see an actual move. So an actual move above 1120 would be my bullish. If you get a move under 1,000, maybe you get some downside. However, the reason why I'm scared of playing downside on Tesla at 1,000 is because every time it gets there, it usually fakes people out. So, there will be maybe another attempt of this 890 area. Maybe there's another attempt of that 890 area. But trading puts at this support has been very dangerous. It has not worked out 5 of the last 6 times. So just be careful trading puts at 1,000. You probably would rather trade puts off this rejection. If you're looking for Tesla downside, you'd probably rather play puts at this rejection point than trying to take the flush point. That would be my recommendation. Yeah, baby, that's I'm not saying you buy it on the breakout, but I'm saying, if you start to see the price action, form, let's say you see this breakout, you see the hold, you see a few days of consolidation, something like this, then I would say I'd be more comfortable buying this push. I wouldn't buy it on the breakout, but I would, you guys, you have to understand, stocks will consolidate above previous resistance level. It's not like, oh, once this breaks 1120, it's gone. You're never going to have an opportunity. You're never going to get into it. You just missed the opportunity. That sometimes happens, but it does not always happen, right? You'll get a breakout, you'll get a pullback, you'll start to see some consolidation, start to see some higher lows, start to see some momentum form, and then there's plenty of opportunities here. And why do I like that opportunity? Because let's say you start to see these higher lows form, right? You start to see, hey, look at this. Tesla's making higher lows. I'm going to jump in right there. That's my entry. My stop loss is below 1120, and I have a structured trade now. Instead, if you were to buy this right on the breakout, where's your stop? I don't know, maybe down here. But then, your stop, you don't want to stop in here because there's no support. You want to stop at 1120. So, the people that buy here sometimes get paid off, because they get a big move. But the buy here is a little bit more structured, a little bit more of a higher % chance of working out with a much more structured trade, right? That's a structured trade. This is not really a structured trade. This is just a chase. This is a structured trade with a stop and and a reason for buying is the higher lows and a hold above previous resistance. So just keep that in mind. That's how I would trade that. That would be sort of my mindset, and it would be the same thing for the downside. If you get a break at below 1,000, and you start to see a rejection below 1,000, then that would be my idea for playing downside. So that's Tesla. Those are the levels I'm watching: 1,000 and 1120. Let's go over. Let's go Facebook. Let's just run through some of these quick. And we've already been here for about an hour. We'll stay around for about 30 more minutes. Let's just run through some charts quickly. So Facebook, just extremely range bound. I have no interest in trading this thing until it really proves a direction. This is the same exact thing as I've been talking about, guys. I mean, how do you trade Facebook? You either trade it intraday. Yeah, right. You can buy it on those. Yeah, exactly. So, would I trade Facebook here? Maybe some intraday scalps, but the big opportunity is probably once we push over this 355 area, 353. So I'm going to watch for that. And then the downside here is pretty massive. The support down here is pretty massive. I mean, I can't really give you an exact level. It's anywhere between 310 and 320. Because we've came back down to 310, pushed higher. We've came all the way down to 300 and pushed back higher. Came back down to 315 and pushed back higher. So there is some pretty big levels down here. And I like to just draw a range there because anything within this range seems like it has some pretty nice support. But yeah, it's been messy as hell. Not a stock that I would be regularly looking at. Just, be careful on that. I would rather just wait for the 350 push, honestly. What do I want to look at? I want to quickly point out a few things, right? We talked about this earlier. XLE, energy's hot, guys, so watch that tomorrow. XLP, consumer staples, has been pretty nice. Nice pullback, previous resistance into support here, right at the 20 SMA. That's a nice little break and retest. XLV, healthcare, is looking a little bit heavy up here. That's why I sold AbbVie, even though AbbVie came out with some positive news. The day after I sold it. Of course, that's what happens, right? They came out with new FDA news. It is what it is. I'm very happy with it. 400% on AbbVie. I'm not blinking an eye to it one bit, but we'll see what happens. I just didn't like how AbbVie was holding up as the XLV was losing steam. XLF, yeah, financials did well, pushed higher, pulled back a little bit on a few of the bank earnings, right? A few of the bank earnings, big pullback on a few, but you guys can see we're sort of holding that 40.8 level, right? 40.8 level. You can see right here. Previous highs, starting to hold that as a retest. And there is a gap on this chart. So a little bit of a gap here on the chart. You guys can see right here. So maybe there is a little push on financials. XLF, you can watch stocks like JPM, which had a massive move lower due to earnings. Don't really like that much. Goldman Sachs. Had a move down. Earnings are on the 18th, so tomorrow, Goldman Sachs earnings. Actually, you know what? Now with that said, we'll go over it tomorrow in the live stream, but here you go. Holy shit, that's a lot. That is a lot of earnings. Damn. So, yeah. Goldman, PNC, a lot of banks tomorrow. Big-time bank earnings tomorrow, so watch the banks tomorrow. Even on Wednesday, BOA, MS. Netflix is Thursday, American Airlines, Ally Banks Friday. More banks are actually starting to get into tech here. So the week of the 24th, we start to see tech. IBM, Microsoft, GE, American Express, that's the payment processing, J&J, more of Dow-related, 3M, Dow-related. 26, Tesla, Intel, Boeing. You got some big ones coming up. Apple, Visa, MasterCard, McDonald's, Chevron, Caterpillar. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be exciting. Hopefully we get some direction because of this. This is your next catalyst, right? And I was wrong by the middle of February. It's more of like the first week of February, last week of January. This is maybe what we can hope on to get this market a little bit of a spark. We need to get the spark plug back, man. That's what we need. We need a little spark here to get investors a little bit more confident on a few of these names. Can these big tech stocks come out and say just something that really the market loves? So like kill expectations and maybe increase guidance. Maybe they say some nice things about inflation, saying, hey, we're not seeing that many, we're not seeing too much problems due to inflation. If they start seeing that, if they start saying those things, maybe that's our spark. But on the flip side, if they come out, bad earnings, we're worried about inflation, everything's bad, and then that's your catalyst for both directions, right? So I think, I don't want to say catalyst means upside. I just want to let you know that catalyst means, I think a catalyst here could actually cause a direction. Now, I don't know which way, because I'm not someone that bets on earnings. That's just irrational. Some people do well on it. That's just the luck of the draw. Maybe they play strategies like strangles or straddles or, stuff like that. ICs, if you want. That's much better than just buying calls or puts. Yeah, that's our catalyst, right? So that's the earnings calendar. I saw Alvaro wanted to look at Square, so let's take a look at Square. Nothing really much to look at here besides downside. Here's a stock that I would consider saying, hey, when people say, has the market crashed yet? Or the market is crashing, this stock is crashed to me. This is a crashed stock, right? This is a crash stock. This is down 50% from its highs. What is a 55% pullback? What is a 55% pullback considered? Is it considered a crash? I'm not sure. I don't even know what to Google for that. Market pullback percentage. Pullbacks are dips of 5 to 10%. Correction is they have sayings for these, right? Pullbacks are 5 to 10%. Corrections are 10 to 20%, and crashes are downturns of more than 20%. So you could say Square has crashed, right? This market has crashed. The Square market has crashed. It has doubled crash expectations. It is down 55%. So just, it's wild that, the market, like the Nasdaq, is down maybe 10% from highs, maybe less than that, actually. If you really take the tippy top of this wick here, it's down 7%, right? So the Nasdaq's down 7%. But yeah, Block is down 55%. So, what happens? Do we start to get this time where market slips, maybe starts to move back higher a little bit, and then these stocks start to curl back higher as well? I don't know. I mean, this is already in crash territory. So Square, ugly, and I just don't see much support on this, to be quite honest, back down to 87. There's just nothing quite there. So does this actually move back down to 87? I don't know. That would be pretty astonishing. All the way back to here, I just don't see much support on this stock until you get back to this high here. This is just sort of straight up movement on Square. So, maybe in this area here where we are right now, around 130 from these previous highs, you guys can see right here around 130, or maybe the lows here of 118. But below that, 87. Yeah, 92, right in that area. I agree. That's really the next sort of support area. 92, 87, right in there. So, yeah, I would not catch the falling knife here on Square, guys. I would not buy it. Daniel, I don't know why you keep writing in caps, man. I wouldn't buy this at all. It's just it's a falling knife, and you're just basically buying yourself into drawdown. That's what you're doing here. You're going to buy this, it's probably going to fall more, and you're just going to sit through drawdown. Why not wait for the trend to change? That's what I would do. Now, PayPal could get worse here. I thought PayPal, if it all depends on earnings, I would say, coming up. I would say it depends on earnings approaching. But PayPal, if it does not hold here at 180, I think this could get worse, depending on earnings. When is their earnings? I think earnings might be the move that gets this going. Earnings might be the deciding factor of the direction here on PayPal. It looks like earnings is on the beginning of February. So, You're at a very important level here on PayPal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this hold this 180? That's going to be crucial, because if you see that, that's a flush, right? That's a flush. Damn, maybe it has to fill this gap. Maybe it has to fill this gap at 130. Ouch. That would be nasty. So, this gap right here at 140 to 130 is something to watch out for. So this could be another good downside opportunity if we really do get this flush on tech. If we're really weak next week and we start to see these things start to flush again, this is a major flush point here on PayPal. You guys can see that. So watch out for that. There's a gap to fill down at 140. I'd be shocked to see that big of a move to the downside, but it's possible. That would be a 58% drop on PayPal. That is a crash. PayPal has crashed. Let's go through some of these like small cap stocks that are just crazy. DraftKings, wild. Absolutely wild. DraftKings is down 70% from its highs, right? That's insane to me. It's at IPO levels, basically. DraftKings is back down to $23 a share. So is this stock crashed? Does it ever come back? It's pretty crazy I honestly have not seen periods in the market where stocks like these are down 70% when other stocks are moving higher. It's a very interesting concept, right? It's a very clear movement of money. No one wants to be in these stocks. They want to be in value and stocks they can trust. So that's something you really got to pay attention to. So like stocks like JMIA, this was hot, right? Remember this was hot for a long time. Small caps were heating up. This stock went up to 69. It's back to $9. I think, this is down 88%. At a time, people thought this was like a solid name, right? They thought, hey, this is the Amazon of Africa, or whatever the hell it is. This is a solid name. I'm going to invest in this for the long term. Down 88%. Crazy. SE. Yeah, SE was really solid for a long time. That thing's been getting crushed. Just the risk off, even a lot of downside in foreign stocks, right? Stocks like Baba, stocks like Baidu, JD, JMIA is a foreign name, and SE is as well. So you guys can see, what did we do last week? This could be a fantastic downside play. Look at this. You guys see how we had previous support here? Support, support, support. And look at the support, right? Look at the support, how it turned into resistance, right? You see that? Well, previous turn into resistance, previous support into resistance, downside. If you break under the lows of here, 168, I would watch that for downside for sure. I mean, there's really nothing there. There is nothing here. There's no structure. The last structure points on this market was right here at 203, 200. 1, 2, 3. You failed it. You turned it into resistance. This is going to definitely be on a watch for the downside for me. I'm definitely going to watch that next week. So that's another one. So basically what I'm trying to say here, guys, everyone's waiting for the market to crash. Everyone's like, oh, the market's going to crash. Well, the market sort of did crash. The market sort of did crash in some respect. There's a lot of stocks that have officially crashed. There's a ton of them. And, when that starts to slow down, does that mean stocks like Apple and Microsoft, does that mean they have to go down? Our stocks like Apple, like Coca-Cola, like Pepsi, like Caterpillar, like Boeing, like Home Depot, like Microsoft, like Nvidia, Tesla, are those stocks, do they have to crash for this market to sort of come into a cool down period and maybe start to find some catalyst back to the upside? I don't think they do, because those stocks are the stocks that I think are solid. The stocks like that I named that are holding up. Ignore Boeing and that one's a little bit questionable. But like stocks like Microsoft and Google and Apple, those companies, do they have to crash here? I don't know. This is just my mind, guys. I'm just theorizing here with you. You can think I'm crazy, but I don't think they have to crash those names, because we've seen the speculative names, the questionable names, the hyped up names, the names that are just ridiculous. Those have crashed. Those have crashed. We are crashing. The plane is crashing right now on those stocks. So yeah, I mean, the market has already corrected its own way, but big money is shifting. Yeah, I think you're right, Edgar. I think that's sort of my mindset as well. Like the money is flowing out of these shitty names that are questionable, that have high PEs, they have very little cash flows, they have bad, they have very low earnings that have been pushed up, because at one time, guys, if you know how the market works, right, the market sometimes accepts no revenue, right? Because you're buying stocks on the idea of future earnings, right? There's stocks like Uber that have never made money. There's stocks like Rivian, which it doesn't even make money. Those stocks are being less interesting to investors, right? Those names that are heavily debt financed, those names are falling, and the names that are solid, like Apple, does Apple have, I think Apple has like $1 trillion of cash or hundreds of billion dollars of cash on their balance sheet. So, why would you not buy Apple? Apple is not going anywhere with more money of cash on their balance sheet than God could even think of. So, how does Apple go out of business? They can't unless Tim Cook goes on an absolute bender in Las Vegas and gambles away all of the company's cash, which would be a couple billion, maybe trillion. So, that's something to think about. Are we already crashed? Is that crash going to slow down? And do you need to see downside on the good names? I don't think you really have to. Why would Apple drop 50%? That would be just absolutely ridiculous. Like, why would this stock have to drop 20, 30%? I think the money's just going to flow out of the shit names and move into and at least hold up the good stuff. That's my idea. So that's sort of my mindset on the market right now. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, is what it is. But I think it's a pretty logical idea. What else? What else do we want to look at real quick? Let's go over a few more names here. Let's go over AMD. Let me know what you guys think about that idea. I mean, maybe you think I'm just crazy, but I think that's actually what's sort of happening. So AMD, you guys can see we're trying to hold this 130 area. Yeah, I agree with you, Edgar. I'm with you on that. So this 130 area on AMD, you guys can see, definitely a pretty strong area. It's definitely held up pretty well. I'm surprised we're not seeing this pullback just yet. I'm surprised we're not seeing this pullback. I think maybe this thing wants to hold up a little bit more, but this 120 pullback looks pretty nice to me as well. This was a pretty quick move to the upside. I would not be surprised if the market does lose a little bit of steam to see this pullback here to 120. That is something I'll be watching. But right now, 130 is pretty nice. Here's the hourly. You can see over the last few weeks, nice little hold at this 130 area. So you guys can see right here, 130 area on AMD. That's probably your area to play this off of if you see any upside. You guys can see it right here. You need an engulfing move over this price action. So you need an engulfing move over this price action right here, right? If you engulf this price action at 140, then you can get your move, right? You get your push, you get your retest, you get your previous resistance into support, and then you can start playing this back to the upside, right? So I'm waiting for that 140 push, engulf this previous resistance. You guys can see double top right here. If we engulf that over 140, then I think you get some more upside. Netflix. Let's talk about Netflix, because I think I have an idea of what Netflix is going to do on Monday. I think Netflix is going to fall on Monday. Why? I'm getting a call. Call them back. Why do I think Netflix is going to fall on Monday? Because I have seen this way too many times where Netflix increases their price, the stock jumps up because people are trading it, and it comes right back to where it started. So on Friday, guys, Netflix around 3 o'clock, let me go back to the 1 minute. Right here, around 3 o'clock on Friday, Netflix came out and said that they're increasing their price. So anyone that's not aware of that, if you have a Netflix subscription, it's going up. It's going up to $20 a month, which is pretty pricey. $15 a month. I thought I saw 20. I guess it's 15. Standard plan to 15. Maybe another one's 20. But you're getting a push here on Netflix, right? I've seen this way too many times. and I think it comes back down. If you go to the 4-hour chart, actually, let me go to the hourly. I'll show you why, first of all, technically why I think it's going to come back down. You can see right here. Yeah, earnings. I'm not really referring to earnings, guys. Earnings is another. This analysis has nothing to do with earnings. Earnings is a whole nother story. But on Friday, we pushed higher. Look at this wick right into this resistance. You guys can see this wick on Friday right into this previous resistance. It starts to reject right off that level. Sellers start to come in, and this thing moves way, it goes from all the way up to 538 to down to 525 at close. I think this moves back lower. I meant Tuesday, guys. I think this moves back lower. Right here, maybe back down to where we started. I've seen this a lot. I'm sure you guys have seen this a lot too. I wish I could go back. Oh man, I wish I could go back and find when they last increased their prices. Previous Netflix price increases. If anyone can find when their last price increase was. Oh, here we go. October 29th, 2020. What did it do here? I do analysis from the weekly time frame all the time. Almost every single live stream. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. Can I get October 29th? What did it do? Let's go. Let's do that. 5 minute. Where's the price increase? I don't know when they announced it. The time. This might be a hard one to do. I don't know what time they announced this. Did they announce it in that? Did they announce it here? I don't know. It said the date of the article is the 29th at 3 p.m. They announced it at the same exact time. And then this is not really analysis that I would trust. Here, I'm just gonna say it to you. I don't think this is clean enough for me to say it's gonna happen again. But we have seen it in the past. But yeah, no, I don't like this. This doesn't show me anything. I'm here to just game plan with you guys. I'm just theorizing. Sometimes you got to look through stuff and see if it works. But no, this situation, I would say no. I would say that's not. Something that makes me believe it's going to happen again. But that is what I'm watching on tomorrow, on Tuesday. I'm going to see if this fake pump on Netflix because of a price increase gives it back. That's something I'm going to watch, just to let you know. What else? Qualcomm has been an interesting stock. Qualcomm continues to hold here at the highs. Very, very interesting. I got to believe this starts to push at some time. I don't think this stock will hold up this long without an eventual pop through. So I'm definitely watching for this breakout here. Look at this consolidation in an otherwise pretty weak market. You guys can clearly see the consolidation that we have here. So I'm definitely waiting for this move to happen. A pop, a retest, a little higher lows start to form, and then you get your pop. That's what I'm looking for on Qualcomm. Definitely a stock I'd watch. I'm also keeping an eye on TSM. I have to be honest. I have read, and you guys know I had someone comment on my video, of course, saying that I was getting wrecked on TSM. Yeah, I closed those, just to let everyone know. I closed those puts up 125% here on Friday. So yeah, TSM had a monster day. I sold my puts at open. Anyone in the Discord chat, you know that. But of course, you have the people that want to see you lose. That's just how it always works. But anyways, TSM, I read some pretty interesting stuff about this company over the weekend. They are expanding pretty massively, which is really going to help out on the chip shortages. And so they're expanding. They're putting a lot of money at work. $44 billion on capacity expansion this year, and they're a big supplier for some of the biggest names: Nvidia, AMD, Apple. They supply all of that. So I don't know. I sort of like this. I mean, this could clearly continue. I would definitely watch out for this, guys. Huge volume on the weekly chart, massive weekly candle, great earnings, big news of expansion. expansion is the name right now, right? Because the reason for chip shortages, if anyone's not aware, is because there's not enough room. There's not enough capacity to build the demand, right? There's just not enough. They're not able to work enough. And a lot of these companies are trying to spend the money. Some companies have found it not profitable to expand. And on the flip side, some companies are expanding. So TSM is spending $44 billion on capacity expansion this year. And if they are a company that can successfully expand and fill those orders, this could be a stock to watch. So TSM, definitely something I would keep an eye out for after this big earnings breakout, really solid earnings. I would be just a little bit careful of how big this move has been. I'm not saying there's not a potential for a little pullback. That is always a potential. But at least the stock I would monitor over the next few weeks. All right, let's go over like 5. Let's do 10 more minutes, guys, and we'll jump out of here. If you guys could take a second, press the like button. If you're here with me right now on a Monday, there's absolutely no reason not to press the like button. I mean, I understand why people, when we're on a pre-market, don't. But as of right now, if you're just chilling here, there's absolutely no reason not to press the like button. Yeah, I think you'll pull back for sure. I think that'll happen, but yeah, maybe to the gap. But overall, I'm pretty bullish on this name. Just read. You guys should read into it. It's pretty. They got a pretty good. Their earnings was pretty solid. What do I want to look at? What is something I have? Let's look at Shop. Let's look at Shop, because Shop I think is inevitably gonna move higher here. I'm not the one to try to time it. That's not really my what I like to do. But on the weekly chart, you are back to this 100 SMA on the weekly at 1100. On the daily chart, excuse me, my throat is itching. I don't know why. You guys ever have allergies and your throat itches? I have bad allergies, really bad. So back here at 1100, you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're back at it again. So I think it is pretty interesting to be watching Shopify at this level. And I know Shopify is an absolute monster of a name for option contracts. It's just terrible and really, really dangerous. But if you can catch this one right, this could be a monster move. How you catch this one right, in my opinion, is you wait for the engulfing price action of 1200. If you get this engulfing move here above 1200, I think you're probably pushing up to 13 here. So here on the daily chart, you guys can see if we get that push over 11 or 1200, I think you're probably moving up to this 13. So I would definitely watch 1100, guys. This is a historically very strong support area, and it's dropped pretty nicely. So I'm definitely going to be watching Shopify here. Not saying that I'm going to play it, because I don't love the option contracts. Huge spreads, insane price action. You can lose $1,000 in a blink of an eye. But definitely interesting at this 1100. Amazon, guys, if you come to my channel, I am a total hater. I guess you can call me a hater. You can call me a hater of Amazon. You can call me that. I don't like Amazon's price action. I don't like anything about it on an intraday basis. I know people make a lot of money trading it. I understand. I get there's opportunity, but I don't like to expose myself to big risk, guys. And this is the riskiest of the riskiest, right? This is the peak of risk on option contracts, because they're gigantic spreads. They gap up $2 to $3 per second sometimes on option contracts. If you take any more than one contract, you are up and down thousands of dollars within seconds. And if you guys are, if you're in with that, if that's what you want to do, if that's how you want to trade, if you want to have that adrenaline and that fear, unless you're comfortable with that, go for it. But for me, this is not my goal, right? My goal is not to be a ridiculous risk taker on Amazon trades. It's just not. And you can, if you don't like that, if you think I'm not a good trader because of that, then so be it. But I'm not saying I'm a bear or bull of this chart. I just don't like the way it trades. So that is why I do not usually watch Amazon or trade it. However, if you are someone that does trade Amazon, then you could definitely see you have a very strong support area here at 3,200. So very strong support at 3,200. If you do catch this right, there could be a very, very nice opportunity up here to 3,700, right? 3,760. That's a very possible opportunity. Yeah, I mean, if you traded condors on Amazon this whole time, then there's opportunity, of course. But yeah, I mean, you're at support. There's obviously an opportunity for a push higher if the Nasdaq's strong. But it's just not something I'm very interested in. However, here you go, guys. On the daily chart, strong support. I would look for a break over this previous price action of around 3,333. It's right where that 20 SMA is. Maybe around 3340, you could call it. But you can clearly see that's that previous resistance right here. You guys can see resistance, which was previous support, 20 SMA. I would want to see that push over. Yeah, we already did Tesla. We already did Microsoft. I see a lot of you guys recommending names we already did, unfortunately. So watch for that push over 3340. All right, let's go over like two more, and then we'll wrap this up. Let's make them good ones. What do you guys got in the chat here? PANW. I'll look at it, but if it's a penny stock, I'm really not interested. What is this? Oh, it's Palo Alto, right? I don't really think many people are. I want to look at stocks that people are interested. PANW. I'll look at this real quick for it. Pull back 490. Now that we're on it. You can see right around here, 490, resistance, support, has to hold that 490, PANW. We already looked at Facebook, we already looked at Nvidia, PANW, there you go, off 490. What do I think about the OTC market? That's up to you. I don't trade OTC. I don't think it's a totally different game than what I do. Let's look at Costco. Let's look at Visa, Costco, Docu. I like all three of those. Nike. All right, we're going to go Costco, Visa, Docu, Nike, Ford. Let's do that. Let me write that down. Scratch pad. Costco, Visa, Docu, Nike, and Ford. And if we have time, we'll go over a few more. But here we go. All right, Costco. Nasty downside move there. I do not like that. So this right here, my first reaction when I look at this chart is not good. That's my first reaction. Why? Because this was a key level, right? This was a monster key level here that needed to hold. This needed to hold right here at 520. That's an important level there. So we broke down below that. Excuse me. We broke down below that 520. That is not a good sign, right? So you can see for team cost, that is a bad sign to see that downside on 520 right there. You can see that pullback right there. Don't like that. So as of right now, you want to see this hold that 100 SMA. If it does not, there is not much structure in this move until 470. There really isn't. There is not much structure in this chart. If I was to pull up the volume profile here, you would see a pretty big gap in volume all within here, right? So watch that 100 SMA. You would need to see this thing back above 520, guys, for me to be bullish, because that is a good flush point right there. That's a pretty big flush. All right, we'll go Visa. We already did PayPal and Nvidia, guys. If you want to see it, just go back and rewind the video. Visa, don't like this rejection at all. This was the rejection I was talking about Visa for how long? We talked about this many, many times. So we were talking about Visa here, looking for that push into resistance with a expectation of it getting stuck there. And it definitely got stuck. So nasty rejection. And also, guys, just looking at the daily charts, I would not be bullish on this. Look at these last two daily charts. Look at daily candles. Look at the last two daily candles. You got to, something if you're not familiar with, make sure you know how to read price action on the candles. These two candles are bearish. Why is because they have such a long upside wick. If you see the wicks, this means that at one time during that day, the price action moved higher and it closed back lower. It got sold into by end of day. So both of these pushes higher on Thursday and Friday got sold into at end of day. So just be aware of that, right? This definitely has a little bit of weakness up here at 220. I would be a very careful buyer up there. Docu did a little gap and fail sort of move, which is something that I've seen quite a bit. Snapchat, I think, did the same thing. Yeah, guys, look at this. Snapchat, these stocks are getting crushed, man. Snap and Twitter. Every day I look at Snap and Twitter, they're just down. Every day. But anyways, you guys can see Snap did something very similar to Docu. It did a gap down. It tried to test to break it out, tried to break the gap, tried to move back higher, and it failed. And Docu did the same thing. It tried to push back higher into the gap right here, and it failed, right? So that 155 area, it tried to push back into the gap and failed. Zoom did the exact same thing. Zoom, exact same thing, right? Tried to push back into this gap and failed. Damn, Zoom is at 156. Holy crap. What a great, if anyone, I wonder if there's anyone out there that bought like swing puts, like leap put options on Zoom. They are definitely cashing in pretty nicely. This is a terrible looking chart. I mean, this is definitely coming back down to, so pre-COVID levels, pre-virus levels are back at 100. At this point, I think this is going to be the rise and fall of Zoom back to pre-virus levels. I can't imagine it holding up before that. So, anyways, back to Docu. It did the exact same thing, right? So it did a little gap down off earnings, and it rejected that gap area. So, in my opinion, Peloton did the same thing. In my opinion, if you just look at the technicals, guys, I don't see much support on this chart. There's really nothing there. Look at how fast Docusign went up. This is the same exact situation of Zoom, right? Why did Docu go up? It went up because of the virus. Because there was an overreaction of thinking that Docusign is going to be the biggest company in the world because you can sign things online. And is Docusign really worth what it was at 314? Probably not. So that's why you got that breakdown. You could not get back into this gap. That is not bullish. And my assumption is that you don't see much support on this back towards 90. Back towards 90. Yeah, man. ARK's just, I don't understand what they do, ARK. I sold out a majority of my stake in ARK. I took like a $2,000 loss on shares. It's just, I don't understand it, man. Why do they keep buying Roku? They just keep buying Roku. I mean, maybe it pays off, but, you know, my mind, I just don't get it. But yeah, the rise and fall of ARK. I mean, ARK has the potential to come back because tech stocks will heat up again. This is a little bit different, right? Tech stocks should heat up again. So ARK could definitely come back in the future. But a stock like Zoom, a stock like Docu, a stock like Peloton, we all knew this was going to happen, right? We all knew this was going to happen. We all knew at one time, right? At one time, people were saying, hey, all these stocks that pushed higher because of the virus will eventually come down. We all knew that. We're not stupid. We all knew that was going to happen, and this is it. This is it. This is what happened, right? All the stocks that went up because of the virus have come back down. And you know, is that really bad? Is this where Peloton should be? Probably. Is this where Docu should be before the virus? Probably. Right? Is this where Zoom should be? Yeah, it probably is where it should be. This is all virus hype. This entire move is all virus hype. And we're back to where we should be. So that's what happens. There's always a positive to every negative, right? The positive of the virus time was the push higher on the stocks that were great for stay-at-home. The stay-at-home trade, right? Remember the stay-at-home trade? Well, now it is the downside. It is the rise and fall of the stay-at-home trade. That is officially what is occurring. and it's been occurring for a long time. That's why I'm not touching these things with a 10-foot pole. All right, Nike. We'll go over Nike. I think Nike comes back down to this 145, probably holds there. I'd look for the bounce off this 145. Right off there. Watch that 145 on Nike. Last but not least, Ford. I love this story. I'd love to see Ford come back. I think Tesla needs some competition. If Ford is the company that does it, so be it. A lot of positivity around their EV. Is this another little, momentum push? Probably. Does this pull back? Probably. But you are officially at the last time Ford was at this price. It was August 13th, 2001, guys. So 20 years ago. What were we all doing 20 years ago? I was 7 years old, probably outside hanging with the boys. And Ford was back trading at $24, $25. So Ford has officially made 20-year highs or 20-year levels here on Ford. We got through that 22 level. That was pretty massive. The next level is probably the 31 area. But, what do we do in this range here? I don't know, guys. This is a pretty big momentum move. I have to assume there's a lot of traders on this. A lot of traders that are just sort of momentum piling into this. So is this something that I would go out and put all your money into? Probably not. If this is probably going to be another stock that a lot of people lose a lot of money on if there's a pullback, which there will be, right? There's going to be a pullback on Ford. There will be, and there's probably going to be people that lose a lot of money because they're probably just piling into it. So I would love to see this slow down and sort of gradually move higher. But I think this is just a sort of an EV pump, a lot of positivity around their EV. So right now, maybe there's some momentum to this name, but it's gonna have to pull back, guys. I would probably look for that 23 pullback. Why 23? Because if I go back to the max available, yeah, it's gone a little bit too fast. I agree. I would be watching this area right here. You guys see this? 1, 2, 3, 4. If Ford can reclaim this area and start to hold here, so if we can no longer see the days of Ford below 23, I think that's a positive, right? If we start to say goodbye to this price action down here, which I think is very potential, right? If we say goodbye to all this down here, then I think that's a positive for this stock. Let's just try to hold this 23 and see if we can start to maybe grind higher off that. You don't want to see this thing back within this is like Ford just got out of the pits of hell, and you don't want to see it back in the pits. You want to see this thing try to hold above this 23, try to stay above water a little bit. I mean, it was just underwater here, right? You're just getting drowned down here. You're back above the water level. Get back on, try to hold above the water level and see if you can get to land or something, man. But yeah, you want to see this 23 hold. That's what you want to see. All right, guys. It's 1:30. Good hangout. Hopefully it helped out a little bit. Just wanted to get on here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to press that like button. No reason you guys are chilling here without pressing that like. Hopefully you do. Hopefully you liked it. 266 you guys. Awesome to see you guys out here. I expect there not to be a lot of people, but I'm surprised. 260 people came and hang out. Very nice. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Come hang out in the pre-market live stream tomorrow morning. That's our real live stream, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. This was more of just a casual live stream. If you guys are here, you've never been here before, this is just sort of a chill live stream on a Monday that I usually don't do. This is the first time ever doing it. But if you guys want to come to the real live streams, they are at 8 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. And that's where we actually prepare for market open. Found me on IG. Oh, nice, Alex. Welcome, man. Welcome, Alex. Welcome. All right. Yeah, guys, if you don't follow my Instagram, I've been trying to put on, some more content on there. So feel free, if you guys have an Instagram, it's on the bottom left of your screen. Follow me, options_insider. And I will never ask you for money. If you get a message from me asking you for money, it is not me. Everyone should know that by now. Don't ever answer someone that you've seen online if they're asking for money. It is always a scam. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day off. If you are off, if you're at the office, I'm sorry for you. I sympathize with you. I know a lot of people are still working. Like a lot of car sales are still working today. I think it's mostly just banks, and corporations off today. So, all right, guys, peace out. Have a good rest of your day. See you later. See you tomorrow.